on the State Department. Earlier this morning, President Trump mentioned Chelsea Manning in a tweet. Ungrateful traitor Chelsea Manning, who should never have been released from prison, is now calling President Obama a weak leader. Terrible. Manning's sentence was commuted last week by President Obama. The whistleblower will be released from prison this May. For more on the Chelsea Manning and how Donald Trump's administration plans to deal with whistleblowers, let's turn to our panel tonight. We turn to liberal analyst Kathy Aru and also Beverly Hallberg, president of the District Media Group. Great to have both of you with us tonight. First of all, clearly Donald Trump does not see the world the way Barack Obama does. But the decision has been made. Beverly, what message does this send to people in the military, people in public service, that if they pull a stunt like this, that it could be pretty rough with this president?
Well, what you find is that no matter who says anything that Donald Trump disagrees with, he may tweet about it. So that's what I think we can learn from this. And I think what's interesting about his tweets, whether it's this tweet or other tweets we've seen along the way, it's one thing if you actually want to tweet and talk about the policy itself and whether or not his sentence should have been commuted to begin with. But to make personal attacks, I would disagree with him on that. Whether it's this or attacking Meryl Streep's acting skills, I'm not sure how this puts him in a good position to being the president of the highest office of the world.
Kathy, what are your thoughts? I mean, just 24 hours ago, Donald Trump was, in a sense, defending torture again, and he had to be rebuked by the United States Senate, even from his own party, saying that it's against the law. The Republican lawmakers talked about that today, saying it's against the law, they don't want to do it. But there seems to be some kind of a mindset here. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's a real disconnect between reality and the world that Donald Trump is living in. And his tweet this morning about Chelsea Manning was so bizarre because he admits he doesn't read books. And he says he reads newspapers, but this tweet was a direct result from something he watched on TV. It was the exact wording of what the reporters were saying about Chelsea Manning. So he didn't even formulate his own opinions on his tweet. He just watched TV, and like a regular person watching TV, he just repeated what they said on TV about Chelsea Manning. So I don't even know if he knows who Chelsea Manning is, but he certainly watched TV this morning. That's what I do know.
Beverly, your thoughts on that?
Well, I definitely think he knows who Chelsea Manning is, so I think that's taken a step too far, but I get the point you're trying to make. What I will say is that when it comes to Donald Trump, I frankly don't think he sleeps very much. He seems to get very little sleep, and that he is on Twitter quite often. I've actually been curious to see what Twitter stocks have been like since he's been our president, because it's mentioned so often. But here's what I will say can be effective about his tweets, is that he has found a way to bypass mainstream media. So they are trying to figure out how to cover this president, and whether or not you like what he tweets, he is finding a way to get his message out.
Well, let me tell you how to cover the president. Follow his Twitter account. He seems to be driving the news cycle every day with his tweets, especially with Mexico. Kathy, we're on the verge of a trade war with one of our best allies. There's no question we've got some immigration issues, but is this a bridge too far and too much?
It's too much. I mean, really, the border right now is as active as it was in 1970, which wasn't that active. We actually have a net zero immigration problem. There are more Mexicans leaving the United States than coming in. We don't have a border problem. We don't need a wall. And people at the border say the exact same thing. So for him to pressure President Peña Nieto into building a wall that's unnecessary, and they're our friendliest neighbor, well, besides Canada, they're our third biggest trade partner. They're our ally, and someone needs to tell Donald Trump who our allies are and who our enemies are. He just doesn't seem to know the difference.
Beverly, your thoughts? I mean, it's the Twitter account surprising members of Congress that there's a possibility of a 20% tariff on anything that comes out of Mexico into the United States to pay for the wall.
Well, as you know, there's new news all the time. It's hard to keep up with it. But when we're looking at the fence, I think one of the things you have to notice, whether you agree with it or whether you don't, it is law that was passed in 2006, the Secure Fence Act, which, by the way, even our Senate Minority Leader, Chuck Schumer, did vote for. So if you want to take a look at the policy itself, take a look at Congress, take a look at what the Senate has done, because what you do find is we have someone in the executive position who is acting as an executor. So change the law if you disagree with what this decision was.
All right, Beverly Hallberg, Kathy Ruth, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. On Monday, President Trump